Hello awesome and welcome to my channel Little Sunshine. My name is Eva and I am a stay-at-home mom of a handsome boy named Daniel. Being a parent is really wonderful and exciting experience, but it can be also pretty tough from time to time with a lot of questions and uncertainty, especially if you're a first-time parent like me. In this channel I share some of my experience, tools, tips, strategies, and hopefully this can be helpful for you and make parenthood a little bit easier. Today I want to share with you our experience with Plagiocephaly, or the syndrome of the flat head, and with Daniel wearing a dog band, or how some other people call it, a helmet. First, let me start by telling you a little bit more about Plagiocephaly for those of you who are not familiar. Plagiocephaly is also known as the syndrome of the flat head. When babies are born, the bones of their skull are softened and it takes time before they get firmer. This helps them to go through the birth canal, but it also means that the shape of their head can change. The reasons for these changes can be different. It could be the position in the lump, premature birth, tightness in the neck that cause the head to tilt and turn on one side, or the back-laying position of the baby. The plagiocephaly can occur in a couple different forms. One of them is also called plagiocephaly, and here I can show you a little bit more. So this is plagiocephaly, and it occurs when either one of the back side of the head is flattened. Brachiocephaly is called when the head is wider than normal, and sapiocephaly is when the head is longer than usual. These changes can be mild, moderate, or severe. When the changes are mild, usually they can be treated pretty easily, and you can see a bigger improvement only by holding the baby in an upright position for a longer time. But when they are moderate or severe, usually you will be referred for further treatment. A recent study shows that 1 in every 2 child has some form of plagiocephaly, which is a lot. And from these children, 1 in 10 is referred for further treatment. The treatment could be wearing a helmet, or in the last couple of years there is a more advanced method that is called dog band. This is how a dog band looks like. And this is not an ad, we're just happy. I'm just really impressed with this technique, and we used it and we were pretty satisfied with the results we achieved. So this dog band is lighter, and it usually, one of those usually weighs less than 6 ounces. It is also much open at the top, so it helps with cooling the baby, and it is also made from hypoallergenic materials, so it is very good for the sensitive baby skin. And now let me tell you a little bit more about our story with plagiocephaly. When Daniel was born, he has a flatness on the back of his head, which was caused probably from his position in the lump. When he was about a month and a half, I noticed that he had some changes also in the right back part of his head. When we visited the pediatrician for his 2 months regular checkup, the pediatrician referred us to a physical therapy specialist in order to try to improve his condition and prevent the need of wearing any type of devices. So we contacted the physical therapy specialist. It was just the beginning with the COVID-19 crisis, so our sessions were online. We communicated pretty actively with her for about 2 months. Dr. Denise, if you're looking, hi, thank you very much for everything we did for us. So we were pretty satisfied with what we were able to achieve with Dr. Denise. We were working pretty actively at home between the sessions, and the improvement Daniel achieved it was a lot, but it wasn't enough in order for us to correct the shape of his head. So when Daniel was 4 months of age, Dr. Denise referred us to cranial technologies for a further evaluation. The first visit with them is usually a free evaluation. During this evaluation, they are making 3D photos of your baby's head, and they give you their recommendations on whether a dog band is needed or not. In Daniel's case, he was considered that the deformation of his head is severe because all of the 4 edges of the head was changed. And over here I can show you photos from that I have from this visit, and this is how a normal head should look like, and this is how Daniel's head was looking. So it wasn't only that the backside is flattening, but also you can see that the forehead is a little bit further, and also his ears wasn't equal. So one of the ears was going forward and the other was going back. So we were referred to put him a helmet. And at that point, my main concern was that he will feel uncomfortable, that he will be in pain. I was imagining that this band will make pressure on his head that will cause him pain. But after I consult with the specialist in cranial technologies and after I talked with Daniel's physical therapy specialist, I felt much comfort because they assured me that the way actually these bands act is not by putting pressure on the parts of the head that are more bumped, but instead the pressure it causes is very mild, and basically it just helps that the flat part to grow in the right position so it can become equal to the other part of the head. And when I talked with Daniel, physical therapy specialist, she also assured me that babies usually tolerate these bands pretty well. They get used to them pretty quick, and usually they don't have any problems with it. And so we decided that we want to proceed further. And the procedure from this moment is the same. After this first visit and the pre-evaluation, they send all of the information with the photos and everything to their insurance department. From the insurance department, they called me in 3 days in order to let me know what the approximate amount for this band will be. And from this point, they also needed to send the information to my insurance company so they can confirm what they will cover, if they will cover something. And in our case, we needed to pay the whole amount, and this was part of our yearly deductible. I know that some other companies can cover the whole amount of the band or probably at least some part of it. And if you're worrying about the financial part, just be calm that you're able also to finance the amount. After we cleared everything with the insurance company, which took about 2 weeks, we scheduled another appointment in the office where they took another 3D photos of Daniel's head. I believe those photos are a little more precise. They also took the measurements of his head, and after that they sent all of this information to their production team, which is situated in another state. So they produce the band, and this type of bands are custom made, so they are specifically made for your baby. And usually it takes about 1 week in order to be produced and shipped to the local office you are using. After the band arrived, you go again to the local office where they put the band. This visit usually takes a little bit longer, about an hour and a half. And during this visit, they put the band on the head of your baby. They wait for some time to see if some red spots on the head will occur. They make some final adjustments if they need to, and they also give you some more information on how to take care of the band and how to maintain it. And after this first visit, the baby leaves the office with the band on their head. Once you come back home, with the band, you need to take it off every 3 to 4 hours. So they consider that the first 1 to 3 days is adjustment days, so it is normal if some red spots on baby's head occur, and they give you a chart and a chart like this how you should what you should do. So basically it's almost impossible to mess up something. Overall, you take the band every 3 to 4 hours. If there are any redness, you just leave the band off until the redness disappear, and you put it on again until the next 3 to 4 hours. In the end of the day, if there are no redness, you leave the band on the baby's head and they oversleep with it, and the same procedure is repeated on the second and the third day. You take the band off every 3 to 4 hours, etc. And after the third days, if everything is fine and there are no more red spots, so the baby's head adjusted, you just leave the band on, and the baby should wear it 23 hours a day. And if there are still any red spots, you should go or call your local office, go there so they can check your baby and make sure everything's fine. So again, this band should be worn 23 hours a day, and you should take it off only for 1 hour during the day, and usually this is bad time. You should shampoo your baby's head every day, and overall the maintenance of this band is pretty easy. You just clean it up every day. You take it off with 70% isopropyl alcohol, and that's everything. I can say from our experience that with Daniel it was pretty easy, and he adjusted pretty quickly. It took him probably a day or two to adjust it, and for the first day he seemed a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't like he's in a pain. It was more like he needed to use that he has something on his head, and he wasn't used to that, and he was able to oversleep with the band from the first night. And they actually warn us that some baby needs up to 7 days, after a week, in order to get used and be able to sleep with the band. But Daniel didn't have any problems at all, and he slept all night long since the first night. So overall I can say that he tolerated the band pretty well, and he adjusted pretty quickly. And actually I think me and my husband, we needed more time to get used to the band than compared to Daniel. Also, those type of bands usually, and I mean any helmet at all, they keep the baby a little bit warmer, although it is open at the top and it's much more cooler and comfortable for the baby to wear compared to a regular helmet. It still keeps them a little bit warmer. So what you want to do is to keep them dressed lighter, but overall it's fine. I mean, we put our first band when Daniel was 5 months of age, and it was the beginning of July, and we live in Georgia. It's pretty hot here, but he did it fine. Overall, he was wearing only honestlies for the whole summer. We kept it cool at home, in the car, and I was trying to take him out for our walks earlier in the morning or later in the afternoon, and I took him one of those mini bands that you can put on the stroller, so it kept him cool while we are outside. So this first band, he wore it about 2 months, from the beginning of July till the end of August. Basically, the fastest result you are able to see is between 4 and 6 months, because this is a period of rapid growth of the head. And after that, you can still change and affect the shape of baby's head, but of course it takes a little bit longer. I also wanted to mention that with this first band, we were sure we want to do it. I mean, my only concern was that Daniel might be in a pain, and in the moment I understood this wasn't true. I knew this is the right thing to do. Of course, we love our son, and we would have loved him even if the shape of his head wasn't perfect. But although they said that this is more of a cosmetic problem because it doesn't affect the brain or the overall development of the child, it can still cause him some problems if he wants to wear a safety equipment or wearing glasses. So we were convinced this is the best choice for him. And so again, he wore this first band for about 2 months, and he was doing pretty good. He has really good results, but in the end of this process they recommended us to put a second band because there were still room for some changes. And for this second band we wasn't that sure because we were already pretty satisfied with the results they were at this point. So we were wondering a lot if we want it or not, but in the end we decided to do it because I felt like we started something and we needed to finish it up. Overall, we were pretty satisfied with our work with Cranial Technologies. The only problem I had and the only thing I didn't like is the communication with their insurance department. For the first time, it took them about 2 weeks in order to proceed the information to my insurance company and come back with feedback to me what the exact amount should be. And with the second band, although everything was supposed to be the same because our insurance company was the same, it took them more than a month in order to submit the information and come back to me with a confirmation from them. And so because of this delay, we weren't able to flip from one band to another, which is the best way to do it, and we had a gap of 2 weeks. And I was worried that Daniel will need to used to be without the band because they actually need to get used to this too. Because while they are wearing this band, we put the band when Daniel was 5 months and he wore it until he was 7. So this is just exactly the period when he was learning to sit up, to stand up. He started to crawl, and so he was hitting his head a lot. And besides everything else, this band also protects his head. So we were feeling kind of calmer while he was wearing it, and in the end we even didn't want it to take it off. And so they need to adjust that when you took it off, they need to adjust that they don't have this protection on their head anymore. And after these 2 weeks, he needed to adjust to the band again. Anyway, the gap wasn't that big, it was only 2 weeks, so he did pretty fine. He adjusted pretty quick with the second band. I suppose he didn't have the time to forget that he wore it before that. So with the second band, they told us he would need to wear it a little bit longer, between 5 and 4 months, but he ended up with pretty quick results. So we put the second band in the middle of September and he wore it to the end of November. And I was actually, I saw pretty good results in his head, but for some reason I expected him to wear it for some longer time because on the first place they told me so. But in the end, I just went there for one of his regular visits, and they told me, okay, that's everything we can do. And yeah, so overall we were pretty happy with the results we achieved. His head looks much better now, and he tolerated it pretty good. We had no difficulties at all. And something else I wanted to mention is that the sooner you put a band on baby's head, the faster result you will see. And for example, if you put a band on baby when they are 4 months of age, they will probably need to wear it between 6 and 9 weeks. And if you put it when they are 7 months or older, they will need to wear it between 3.5 and 4 months before you are able to see any improvement. So if you're at the point where you consider whether to put a band or not, just know that it's not that scary. The children usually get used to it pretty quickly, and they just accept that this is there, and you put it to them the same way you put clothes on them. So don't worry, everything will be fine. And if you want to do this, just try to make it faster, because this way you see faster result and it will be easier. So this is everything for today's video. I hope this information was helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can put them in underneath this video, and if you like what you saw today, please do me a favor and click the subscribe button down below so you never miss a video I upload. And if you need some more support, you can join my Facebook Little Sunshine. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is 2020.little.sunshine. Thank you, have a great day, and I see you soon. Bye!